Just like the good old days of joke intros, I believe I can fly. I believe I can cut your eye. Nope, that's wrong. Hello everybody and welcome back to some more FTB NeoTech. Today, we are going to be getting creative flights with a new chestplate called the Gravity Chestplate. Yes, no more will I stand my terrible little jetpack. We need a whole new thing which will allow us to take flight. But before we can get here, we first need to unlock this quest line over here, which we got pretty close to in the last video when we were automating our chemicals. And since then, I have managed to finish the ones that I wasn't able to at the end of the last video. So if we head on over here, you might notice a little something over here. I added another vacuum freezer into the mix of all of this. And right in here, we have our air tank constantly making us the liquid air, which then goes out into the centrifuge, which makes argon, nitrogen, and oxygen. Now, unfortunately, I need argon the most out of all of these, and it makes the least of it. And so when everything else is finished up, it just stops production. So we're just gonna have to suck that up for right now and hope that I don't need any more argon than I have today. The reason why, for those of you who don't know, I wasn't able to automate everything is because with the recipe setup in the integrated dynamics, I can only use one fluid on both the input and the output. So for the crafting recipes, I had to set it to be one of the fluids that I want to go out with just enough of it to then get us our end result. And then another thing right here with a fluid exporter, which has a variable card that will just constantly put out said fluids and or gases. Integrated dynamics is very indiscriminate about that. So yeah, they're all done. Unfortunately, this one over here, I am actually going to need a bucket for. So I'm gonna need to make polyvinyl chloride then. So that should be right in here. Yeah, polyvinyl chloride. Just need to make enough for a whole bucket, and we can go ahead and set that to craft. So while we wait for that to finish up, we can go ahead from the other side in all of this, which is the whole goal of this portion of it is to get this processing unit. So for starters, we need to get platinum, which I should have some platinum ore from in here. Yeah, we got some of that. So I just need to go ahead and then throw that into our maciator, and that will then get us our platinum ore, which with that, we now get even more platinum ore. Now this next one is a checkable, so we can go ahead and just check that off. But we need to get ourselves platinum sulfuric solution, which is not difficult. It just takes the raw platinum and 9,000 sulfuric acid, which I can actually go ahead and just set up a recipe for over in here as well, because a lot of these already involve sulfuric acid. So I actually already have it in abundance. So now with that sulfuric solution, we need to go ahead and then make that in the centrifuge to make ourselves iridium. This will also make a purified platinum sulfuric solution, which would go back into being platinum. Okay, I don't know if I want that, to be entirely honest, but I guess we'll see what happens. So then I guess I can also go ahead and set this one up to a recipe as well. That way that one can kind of be its own whole thing. Oh, also, I've noticed something. It seems that for the mission right next to this where I can get platinum, I actually can only get the platinum through the tiny dust, which we get from the purified. So that's gonna be interesting. So that means I am going to kind of need a special place for this, so that way I can kind of get the stuff out. Yeah, let's just go ahead and move this thing. I'm gonna set up some recipes to get the whole platinum thing, and we'll be right back with the next process, because we are gonna need to speed this all along because there's a lot of stuff to do.
Later.
Alrighty, I got the iridium recipe all set up. So now if we just go ahead, request this one to be made, we should get that one ready any moment now. And I also set up one for the tiny platinum dust over here in our little electrolyzer right here for when this part is done. But here we go. This process is almost done. So that should give us, did it give us the iridium? the iridium only has a 5% chance to go in, so that recipe has a 95% chance of forever just not being fulfilled. Well, fortunately, we only need one of these iridiums, I guess. Well, that sucks. Okay, I'm gonna try it 5 times since we're gonna use up about 5 of my platinum solutions, so we'll still have some left over. Because like, you remember, when I run out of tanks, something else just takes their place, because I can't like whitelist or blacklist them to certain things. They cannot be filtered. That's a little unfortunate. Okay, well, let's just go ahead and temporal pouch this baby. Just because, I mean, that's just gonna make things easier, honestly. So once that still doesn't do it, well, I guess I can just sort of keep an eye on in here because it's just gonna go right to there, but still.
Much later.
At long last, we can go ahead and cancel the rest of these jobs. We've gotten ourselves our iridium. Oh my gosh, that is so good. So yeah, the rest of that's just gonna keep on going. That's fine. But this is what we really wanted. Oh my gosh. We next need to make ourselves this thing right here called the silicone wafer, which it's not a cracker, so you cannot eat this thing. But how we get this is we actually get quite a lot from them. We just need to make one of these monocrystalline silicones with half a bucket of lubricant, which is about how much I have left. A little less. Well, fortunately, I should actually have the silicone recipe right in here, because how we get the silicone thing right here is very simple. We need our iridium, half a stack of silicone, and 1,250 millibuckets of argon, and that'll get us that one. Now, this is the thing though. When you can put the crafting thing on these things, you can't really split it up. So I put it in this backpack right here with a tank upgrade, because this is the only one that has a tank upgrade. For some reason, the other sophisticated storages don't have that. With the crafting recipe right there. So then the items will go over into the input, and then the fluid will go over into the fluid input. Now, one question still remains. Do I actually have enough argon?
Nope.
Okay, I got the argon thing working again, so I should have enough now. So now, if we go ahead and then look into these, this is interesting. The recipe is available, and it should be working, yeah. But it has not gone. Oh, wait, right. No, wait. No, right. Because it still needs to make the silicone. Oh, okay, right. I forgot that I was not in the silicone business just yet. I literally just got some more of the Certus quartz off screen for this thing. Hey. Okay, then. So I really need to disable blocking mode on a lot of these just because it's like, it's so annoying. Okay, that's all gone now. So now that should have outputted into these, or not. Was there something else that I was missing? Please tell me there was not. Recipe not allowed. Recipe inputs cannot be inserted into the crafting target. You mean to tell me I couldn't insert into the backpack? That can't be right. You could usually input and output from the backpacks. That's the whole point of being able to put them down.
Much later.
Okay, I got the silicone. For some reason, I could not get this thing to work. So I found out that the problem with this thing inputting was actually the argon. So I thought it might be a problem with the backpack because I thought maybe I just couldn't link stuff in. So I put the argon in manually, and then it actually ended up going through here, which means the problem is the argon combined with the crafting interface. I don't know what the problem is for that. I'm gonna have to try to figure that out on my own, but for right now we do have this, so we can go ahead and then just send this thing into here, and that will then slowly make us the silicone wafers. So then while that is going, I guess I can go ahead and then check more platinum. And yeah, we got that. So let's just go ahead and then get enough of that one made up as well, because fortunately we can't actually have multiple processes going on at once. Oh, well, this one wasn't even auto crafting, so that's lovely. So then once that one is then done, we should be able to get ourselves some platinum ready. That way we can then go ahead and finish this whole thing up. And I don't think I ever actually got the poly thing in a bucket. Fortunately, we still had some left over, so I didn't have to deal with the whole other thing. But there we go. That's that quest line done. So now that that's out of the way, we can now go ahead and make ourselves our full platinum dust. And then I believe we go ahead and just either smelt this. Okay, we smelt it in our blast furnace. And bada bing, bada boom, we should now have ourselves our platinum ingot. There we go. Oh, I accidentally got the right one when I was trying to access the storage to here, but that's fine. So now we have everything that we're going to need to make ourselves this processing board, and then also this random access memory. For us to make the memory, we're going to need our silicone wafer, antimony dust, and aluminum mixed with argon and styrene butadiene rubber. That is going to involve two chemicals, which, as has been established, is going to be a problem. And especially since argon might not be able to go through crafting terminals. Plus, the styrene butadiene is like a whole process thing that I've kind of had to auto craft set up. So that one's probably gonna have to be the one that's crafted anyways, whereas argon is just being constantly made. So I'll have the argon thing be like these guys, where it's being constantly pumped in. I'm gonna get all of that so I can make both of these, and then we're gonna go ahead and then skip right to the processing unit, which is gonna have two new things, which is still more stuff that's very easy for me to get, more platinum, more the silicone wafers, and then all these guys. I've already automated all that. So let's just go ahead and skip right to when we can get our processing unit, just so that way we can speed the rest of this along.
Much later.
Alrighty, so I should have enough for it all now. I actually ended up making 2 processing unit boards because I saw that I was going to need more of them later. But then I also noticed I get those from the quest rewards. So I didn't need to make more than one of those at all. So that's fine. So let's go ahead and make ourselves our processing unit. There we go. Beautiful little thing is made right here. We can go ahead, get that, and move on to this next one, which I also should already have everything for. Actually, that is not true, because I actually had the annealed copper wire, so I just need to go ahead and make myself this. There we go. Now we have ourselves the highly advanced machine hull. Oh my gosh, this took way longer than it realistically needed to, but that is okay, because a lot of the rest of these things are also going to end up being things that just going to take me a while, that I am going to have to go off and take care of on my own, because it's just, it can't ever be simple for me. But it's fine. So do I have everything for this one? No. Do I have the motors? I do have the motors, which means that it's the titanium. For the rest of these, just gonna be another one of these large pumps, so it's just gonna take me getting some of the titanium rotors. That's gonna be fun. Then we're gonna need some of these advanced pumps, which I should actually have those, and this large advanced motor and the processing unit. I'll go ahead and take care of those afterwards. The drill is just gonna be a bit of a thing. We're gonna need to get more titanium, the item pump, the annealed copper, which we should still have some more of that, gears, and then this thing. I'll take care of all of those while we are away. The biggest thing, though, is going to be this highly advanced upgrade. I'm going to get all this off screen because it's going to be a massive process. It's going to take those advanced pumps and those motors that I just got. But then it's also going to take the board that we just got also, and a turbo upgrade, which is just going to take...
More of these pumps, more of these motors, another digital circuit board which I already have, and an advanced upgrade, which is just going to take a basic upgrade, which I already actually have some of those. Electronic circuit board, large pump, large motor, then large pump. I got those things backwards.
I love this plan. I'm excited to be a part of it.
Alrighty, I managed to get all of the things right here. The titanium drills were EMCable, so I managed to get a whole stack of those things. And now we've gotten ourselves our iridium ores, which we can go ahead and just throw this into our maciator. And that should get us a raw iridium. So if we could just go ahead, slop right over to there. There it is. We get 3. Oh, snap. That's actually really good. And then that will give us 16. Alrighty. The final stretch is here. I know I've sort of just skipped over a lot of stuff, but I mean, it really has just been a lot of crafting this video. So, the final thing we need before we can get the gravity chest plate. It's gonna be very interesting. So all of this is going to involve one thing called, what is it? Superconductor ingots. Now the superconductor ingot can actually be made through a very simple process right here with just iridium dust, annealed copper dust, neodymium dust, and yttrium dust. Lots of different dusts that come from monazite and or just copper. So it's actually not that difficult. So now that we got ourselves our iridium, we can go ahead and throw the rest of these guys in here. I might not have crushed down the iridium again. I totally didn't forget I needed to do that. That was not a problem I made. Just go ahead and put that in there, and there we go. It was totally fine from the start. Oh my gosh. Okay, so now we got ourselves our superconductor dust, which means now we just need to go ahead and throw this into the blast furnace super cooling thing, set up again, and then we will get ourselves this new ingot. We're gonna need 5 of them to make the plates. Those will be easy. Then we're gonna need to make ourselves one as a coil. The downside is though, is that now we're also going to need ourselves 4 of these cooling cells because, well, a few of those are gonna go into there. Oh, we're gonna need even more than that because remember, I'm gonna need this twice. So I'm actually going to need 6. Okay, and then that is gonna take 10 plates, fluid, and then a small heat exchanger. That's not hard. That's just gonna take some Invar stainless steel plate and then some more advanced pumps. I already got all of that. I just need 2 of those for one of these. All that's fine. Biggest thing though is cryofuel. 1,000 millibuckets of cryofuel, which is made with helium and argon. I am going to go get everything I need for these cooling cells because those guys are just gonna be a pain. Because like otherwise, I'm just gonna be here crafting all sorts of things. It'd be very boring.
So much later that the old narrator got tired of waiting and they had to hire a new one.
I already got the cooling cell and I got all of the whatever these things were called. And I realized that this thing actually gives me the superconductor coils. So I can literally just go ahead and make that right there. There we go. And then we now have ourselves the gravity chest plate in all of its glory. So now if I apply this, oh my gosh, dude, that looks sick. Oh, I'm kind of gonna miss the jetpack, but at the same time, oh, but that does not provide me with much armor. Okay, if this gives me more armor when it has a charge, then it could be good. Otherwise, this could be a problem. But as y'all can see, for right now, we actually cannot fly. That is because we do not have power in this thing. But it's on my body. So how am I going to be able to keep this thing consistently powered? Very easily, actually. We are just going to require this thing called the pocket generator. And it is very easy to craft. We just need some ferry core, motor, carbon, and a block of redstone. All very easy stuff to get. And then we can just throw different fuel sources inside of it, and it'll start powering any and everything that requires power on me. Now, you might notice 2 things. First and foremost, that's probably the most noticeable, is that my audio is different. And the second thing is that my face is gone. Now, why on earth would my face be gone? Yes, I am not Fortune Cookie at all. I am Future Cookie. Which means something went wrong. So, original plan was the aerial interface, and I did actually do that. It required another star, bunch of other stuff, so I had to fight a wither again. That was fun. But I explained it so terribly that I just could not keep it in the video. It just took so dang long. And I didn't even keep it. I ended up getting rid of it in the next video, which also won't be coming out because that one, I didn't do anything in it, basically. And B, I was just so sick. Like, It did not go well. So yeah, that one's not coming out. It's not really important to the overall series, so that's fine. And also, this thing is just way better, and it gets up replacing it literally in the next video. And as for the audio difference, for those of you who may have noticed, my audio has been undergoing a change. I didn't notice it until way later because my audio is recorded in advance. My whole videos are recorded in advance, so bear with it for a little while longer. Very soon it will be fixed to the point where I am speaking eloquently now. But yeah, it's gonna be crappy for a little longer. Also, another announcement: Monday's NeoTech video will not be NeoTech. I'm gonna be recording Stoneopolis that day for reasons that will be explained in that video. But with this thing now gaining power, we can now take creative flight and stop in mid-air without any problems. Oh my gosh, it's so sick. Just like the good old days of joke intros. I believe I can fly. I believe I can cut your eye. Nope, that's wrong. Oh my gosh. So did you like this video? Good. Then be sure to check out our last NeoTech video where we got the distillation tower to automate chemicals. Bye-bye!